Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Thanks a lot for joining us. We are here, we're live, it is Friday, and we're getting ready for the Sorare Gameweek deadline stream. Unfortunately, my usual co-pilot, Harry Trade, can't be with us this week. Thoughts and prayers are with Harry and the family, of course. And last week, I had the pleasure of being in the audience and enjoying Sam and Josh covering my absence last week. Unfortunately, neither of them are actually available to help us out as well. So while I was in the live chat last week, I brought one of these with me, and it's the patron saint of the live chat, of course. It is SRMonkey. Monkey, good to see you, my man, and welcome to the deadline stream.
How you doing, guys? Funny to be on this side of it, especially it's around this time. Normally, I'm getting super stressed, like trying to get my team sorted out. So I've had all that stress is like it was last night. Now everything's sort of calm, but yeah, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, and it's another big weekend. Like for me, it's the derby on Sunday, so there's like all the usual Sorare stuff that's going to be bubbling away, but also there's that the game that's bigger than everything else. It's hard to kind of put into words in the kind of Sorare context, if you know what I mean. But it's do or die as it will be on Sunday. There's only 1 point in it at the moment at the top of the table. Rangers have just been knocked out the Champions League by PSV. Celtic have just been drawn in a group we're all quite excited about being in. You know, Feyenoord, I think it'll be a real battle for 6 points. I'm looking forward to that. We beat Lazio in the Europa League not too long ago, with probably, maybe, depending on your point of view, a different team, maybe a worse team. And, you know, Atletico Madrid are pretty good. You know, there's not too much you can hope for there. But a group that we've definitely got a bit of a fighter's chance in. So coming into this game, transfer deadline day is happening as well. There's all sorts of drama in between the lines as well. So it's a big weekend for me on Sunday with that, Monkey Boy. But the Sorare, the actual Sorare games we've got this week, everything's flying, everything's going, and there's teams everywhere going all over the shop. We've got monthly leaderboards starting as well. What are you kind of excited about coming into the weekend?
Well, yeah, the start of the monthly leaderboard should be quite exciting. But, you know, as with always, I spend hours and hours and hours trying to decide where to play my cards. And this weekend, it's really, really tough. There's quite a few teams that have got decent matchups, which we'll talk about in a minute. But also, there's the added spanner of obviously the the monthly leaderboard, as you just said. You know, which offers some amazing prizes. Like I thought they were going to name them, but they haven't named them yet. But I'm sure they said originally they were going to name you, so you knew beforehand what you were going to win. I don't know whether they just meant it was going to be a tier 0. I thought they meant it was going to be whatchamacallit,
like Mbappe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But so, yeah, the prizes are immense. Like decent wages of cash. Like even in limited, look at that. You can win a star rare, star limited plus over $500. What's that? 0.3 ETH or something like that.
Give or take, yeah.
Bonkers.
Depends on the day of the week. But that's pretty tasty, isn't it? Right at the top. And even if because the limited, like Monkey, exactly how sensitive the limited divisions are to fixtures. Like if you can get like a few coherent like power plays, concurrently, then this is like really an opportunity. This leaderboard, I think, if you can be really clever and look over 5 game weeks out of a month and just hope that you can get 3 really big ones, that would separate you.
And of course, 3 of the game weeks this month will be international break game weeks. So if you've been clever and planned, then, you could easily sort of, make up huge amounts of score and really get towards the top of the leaderboard for when like the full fixtures come back.
Yeah. Even look at that. Top 600 are getting basically a wee threshold in essence for the end of the month. That's not too bad at all, is it?
Yeah. I didn't realise it was full 600. That really makes sense then. If you're a small ball user and you get a tier 3 as well, all the way down to 600, you probably should be putting your best lineup in All-Star.
Tier 3s themselves without cash will go all the way to 1250, which is pretty generous too. Yeah. And these divisions have always got huge headcounts, so it's good to see that the prize pot does extend, quite significantly.
And it's the same all the way through, isn't it? So, like, the rare one, All-Star Pro. I haven't really looked at that one because I'm not going to concentrate on that. But I assume super rare as well, is it?
Yeah. all of them, all the All-Stars have got it. I think the limited one is the one I've looked at the least myself personally. But the rare one definitely appeals to, I would say, the majority of people that will be catching us up with the line today.
Tier 1 super rare. That's like an old T0. That could be, an absolute baller.
So
that could be like a star rare. That could be like, if you get Mbappe, that could be, well, I'm probably not going to get Mbappe at the moment because they're not licensed. But, whoever you get, that's like a $5,000 basically for nothing because you've been entering the competitions all month long anyway. Bonkers.
Yeah. Aye. And if you look at it, this is, when I looked at this prize pool, I thought this kind of looks a little bit familiar. It's obviously quite big, 1,300 quid. The podium's pretty tasty. But that's All-Star Rare, the monthly leaderboard. It doesn't look too dissimilar to a game week for Pro, in a sense, in terms of the star payouts and that kind of thing. But when you look at this one as well, that's pretty healthy on top, isn't it? Just like an extra game week on top. But
I just hope it's not massive accounts that win them all. I'd love to see a smaller account, at least get on the podiums and these sort of things.
So I think you're going to see all sorts of different people winning this because see the one thing, Monkey, that most people can't, maybe not with Pro, right? See, with this division is maybe the outlier of all of the monthly competitions, right? Because that's probably the one that is the competitive players, bread and butter.
Yeah, which is why I'm avoiding it. I'll still have teams in there, but I'm certainly not going to prioritise that.
But I think, see, for rare and limited especially, and maybe even super rare, there's going to be so many people won't pick the best team that they've got available for themselves, if you know what I mean. So many people, I just thought I would put my team out because I knew I had another 23 defender and a champion defender at that as well. So, how many people would go through those two filters? Yeah, that's the team I'll play there this week, so... And with that kind of thing, how many people would not play him in under 23, not play him in champion? Not just that card, but there's a bunch of cards like that, if you get me. So I think particularly for rare and for limited, I think if you went for it, you've probably got a good shot of landing somewhere. You might not win the thing ultimately, but I think getting on the leaderboard, if you went for it, is probably it's probably not that wild a stretch. You could finish in the top 700 over a month if you really tried on that basis, if you get me.
And tier 5s, often they're a bit crap, but, I've had some absolute belters in there recently. Players that, for whatever reason, have been injured, have just come back and they're cheap. And, honestly, it's still worthwhile picking up a T5.
Yeah. And this is going to be super tight as well. So it's not like you're going to be cut off by miles. I think if you pick up a T5, you'll probably be within spitting distance of a T3, because, if you remember back to the Global Cup, those places at the top were, tight. And then this is a totally different kind of kettle of fish in some respects because we're not playing with the same players. XP's all over the place as well, and different bonuses, captain selections, etc. But I think it's going to be super tight between all. I think if you get into places you will be oh wow, imagine I had another, 10% that good week. I'd have got another 4 points, and that would have put me into the money, or. So I think it'll be super tight. What do you reckon
this is rare, isn't it? What do you reckon in rare you would need to score over 4 game weeks to get in there?
Well, I think so the way I think about rare is if you're not getting 400, you're not really thinking about anything. If you're getting something for scoring under 400 points.
Prizes.
Yeah, for sure. But I think consistently over the month, if you know what I mean, because it's going to be 4 weeks out of 8, and the internationals may be a little bit OP in this in particular month, but I do think I'm aiming for getting to 1,400 points is what I think. If I can get around that, then I'm probably fighting for something, because consistently getting over 400 a couple of times, that has to be an outlier, if you get me. So I'm using 400 basically as a line for judging the team against. When I pick this team, could it get to 400 with bonuses or without, depending on how strong I think it is, but that's what I'm kind of thinking about. And if it's without bonuses, maybe if I think Gaul could smash an 80 and this could happen and that could happen, then maybe I'm a bit more confident or a bit less. And, that's how I'm kind of thinking about it. But I'm not it's the first week of it, it's one of these ones where see how it goes. But that's kind of how I play that division anyway. So this kind of just plays into my game a wee bit more naturally as it was. So, yeah, I look forward to this week.
Yep. It's certainly going to be exciting. But have you got all your teams set now? Everything's done?
I did the wee lineup builder last night because I thought I always feel guilty kind of doing my lineup builder stuff on the deadline stream. I think it's more about, prize pools, the teams, the predicted 11s, the matchups, all that kind of stuff. And then, just shooting the breeze and whatever. Because we've had a lot of stuff actually happen this week as well, Monkey, with obviously more cards being released. We had the support thing for the K-League happen yesterday as well, which I seen there was a wee bit of divided opinion on. Also, I'm not that close to it, so it's hard for me to really speak on it. But yeah, there's been a few wee things rattling around and whatever. So anything that is going on in the live chat, they normally will throw it out at us. But lots of fist bumps to everyone. Everyone's happy to see Monkey in the house as well. Everyone's buzzing about that, so great to see. And the live chat is absolutely popping, guys. There's a bunch of these here. Please do hit the like button. We're on a bunch of, I think we're on all the platforms like Twitter, YouTube, and all those places. So like, subscribe, share, retweet, follow, all that good stuff at SRMonkey as well. You can find them on all these platforms at the same handle. And yeah, I think it's about that time, Monkey. I'm feeling pretty comfortable where normally me and Harry Boy will jump over and we'll look at the most important matches of the game week, the ones that are going to be the movers and shakers on the leaderboard, the ones that are going to really make the difference. And, like we spoke about, there's a few extra little creases going around this game week. And looking at the top of the table there, we've got Man City at home to Fulham. That is definitely a new one for me, seeing Man City at the top of it. We've not had that, I don't think, this season. It's been quite a lot of challenger. So, yeah.
And I thought as I'm coming on the stream today, I thought I'd sort of line up an extra special giveaway. So I won't say anything more right yet, probably because I haven't quite got it up on my screen yet. But I'll have a root around in a second, and the card will be an absolute belter, which, well, Quinny's certainly hoping this guy plays this weekend. And he's in one of those top 4 teams on there.
Oh,
I won't tell you which one, and we'll tell you you're going to have to like the whatchamacallit, like the stream.
Yep.
And then I'll have a think, and Quinny, you have a think, see if you could come up with anything good for a way to give it out.
Yeah, sure. We'll get it. We'll get it involved with the live chat. So we'll probably, once we run through maybe like the most powerful fixtures, once we get to that kind of, maybe about an hour from now, when it's a good time to pause for the cause, we'll do some sort of interaction in the live chat based on something that's probably going to happen in the first hour of the show. So if you're here getting involved in the live chat and whatever, then we fingers on buzzers at that time. Sound good to you, buddy?
Sounds good.
Yeah. Awesome.
Right,
so one of the top 4 games, you say, as well. So that's interesting. So straight off the bat, we've got Man City. And Man City at home always looks good. And yeah, I'm quite happy with this predicted team. I'm not happy to see Kovacic in there, but at the last minute, and Doku might be getting a wee debut. That would be something, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I don't think I can't imagine Doku comes in straight away. Who's on Alvarez? Who else is on there?
Bernardo.
See, I thought Bernardo would play, but...
Me too. I made a change last night to put him in over somebody else now this morning. So Sorare Connor, 20-year Man City season ticket holder. I'm going to go with his gut. I don't mind that at all. So if he thinks Doku could be doing it, fair play to him. If he thinks Kovacic is going to come in, then fair play to him. I'll probably go along with him on that one. And
either way, it's going to be a tough afternoon for Fulham.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Now, Palfinha, that's out of date, obviously, because he is actually in Germany right now, ready to sign for Bayern Munich. He's doing a medical. He's probably right now, as we speak, on a treadmill with all those little sticky things on him, and a little oxygen mask. And he'll be going through the paces right now thinking, yes, I'm getting in Bayern Munich.
Might actually win something. Sorry, Fulham fans.
So, yeah, I don't think he's 95% on for Fulham this week. I don't think that's going to happen. But otherwise, not a bad-looking team. But, yeah, away to City, you just got to think it's, especially if Doku is serious wonder kid material coming to this Man City team. And Guardiola's hit the ground running already. Rodrigo is like getting Ballon d'Or nominations at this point now, which is just hilarious. But this City team is just going from strength to strength. So I think it could be a really dominant win. Fulham don't pretend to defend either. And yeah, it's just a case of if City can keep a clean sheet maybe for those really high scores across the board. But I think it should be quite a convincing win either way.
Yep, definitely, yeah. And then the next one on the list, obviously, is by Leverkusen, who have I watched their match. I caught the highlights first week. Watched their match last weekend. They absolutely look brilliant. That Boniface up front just looks perfect for them. You know, Vert's pulling the strings in behind. They just look incredible. Granit Xhaka, Palacios, Frimpong, Grimaldo. If they can keep that team together and injury-free all season, I think they could challenge for the title. I don't even think that's a big shout at the moment.
I would echo that exactly. Yeah, I think if they can't do that, I don't think it is a shout at all, because they look wild. They're so good at the moment, and it will just be keeping them all ticking over and keeping them fit. And like every position there's basically a star player for the position. They all fit perfectly into that kind of system that they're playing. And they're at home this week to Darmstadt, who got promoted from Bundesliga 2 last year. But this looks to be a wildly 50% clean sheet opportunity here for Leverkusen. XG almost 3. So they're expected to really go to town on Darmstadt here. And like you say, if you've watched Leverkusen at all this season, like Boniface just looks like he's going to be the next guy who goes for 100 million to somebody. Like a big team will pay that for him, no problem at all. If he has the season that if he can, look what he's done over the first 3 games. If he does that over 30, then it's going to be inevitable in that stage, And yeah, Hoffman works. It's just everything's plugging together fantastically well, and they look great for it. I feel bad for Darmstadt. I don't know if anyone out there's got any cards for them, but I don't recognise any of them either, to be honest. So yeah, unlucky Darmstadt. I hope
the old guy from Wolfsburg there who used to play for Dynamo Zagreb.
This guy.
He's a pretty decent player, but they're a good team in Division 2. They're not a good team in the Bundesliga. So yeah.
And I think they're just going to go there, because now the perfect thing about some of these teams is that they haven't played midweek. They haven't had to qualify for whatever tournament. They've went straight in, and Leverkusen is definitely one of the beneficiaries of that. As are also Champions League Pot 1 team. I'm sure they were in Pot 1. Benfica, and they're number 3 here. So this has got me actually a wee bit excited, Monkey, for what you were teasing earlier on, because there's definitely somebody in this game that I'm really hoping plays. And we play sharper. Some of the guys are amazing. All of them are amazing, don't get me wrong, but sometimes I do curse their name as the game week rolls on because of what it said people would play and they didn't, right? So with that kind of experience in mind, the Monkey, see when I see 60-40 on a goalkeeper position, I think nobody knows. Nobody's got a clue. That's what that means. Nobody has any idea who's going to play. So I hope Trubin gets his debut at the weekend. If I was the manager, when I signed him, not when I signed him, but when they signed him, I thought, if I was a Benfica manager, at home to Morenese, this Guimarães, I beg your pardon, this home game is the game you would bring him in for. And I think if nobody knows who the goalkeeper is this week, I think he comes in personally. But Benfica, monster team at home, and this should be a great game for Benfica stacks.
I don't think there's any doubt that he's going to get the number 1 spot eventually. I'm just not sure how quickly it would be. But as you said, if the expert on Benfica has got it 60-40, you're right. They don't know, so it could happen. If I owned Trubin, I would have him in a team this weekend.
Yeah, I've done that. I've put him in a wee punty team just in the off chance that he gets his games. But Kokchu, Di Maria, Cabral now in the building. Rafa, João Mario, Florentino Luis. This team are packed with talent all over the back, and maybe there's a wee bit of a split here between João Mario, Neres, and Florentino Luis. Maybe these are questionable, but the main stacks out of this team, really, minus the goalkeeper, obviously, because Odysseus has went to Forest, I think. But Otamendi, Kokchu, Di Maria. There's definitely going to be some strong spines of Benfica, I think, going around this game week.
Yeah, no, definitely, yeah.
And then, in number 4, we've got Borussia Dortmund at home to Heidenheim.
Which is another obviously good matchup. And I only caught highlights of their games. They looked okay. I'm not sure I would have that. I think that they're purely a pair, obviously, based off matchup. But if I had some of these guys, I'd play them, like Julian Brandt. I think over set pieces, he's the guy you want. Everyone knows I love guys with set pieces, but
Yeah.
Schlotterbeck seems to be, he started slowly, but once he gets going, he's going to be banging the big scores again. Benes Barney, I'm awful at pronouncing names, so I'm absolutely going to pummel some of these. But Quinn Rami, I think, is an excellent player. I really loved him when he was at Mönchengladbach. But, it would be, I would prefer to see him in a wing-back type role, but I'm sure that's not going to stop him pushing up anyway. But yeah, good team. For me, they just look a little bit lightweight compared to someone like Leverkusen and obviously Bayern Munich.
Yeah, well, Show Shix here is saying the first 2 games were a true pain to watch, and I caught a little bit of one of the Dortmund games, and I don't know. I don't think they got a good result. The manager was speaking afterwards. He was really frustrated. I forget what game it was now, but yeah, they've definitely not started the season the way they would want. And on paper, I think they've got a fantastic team this year. I think Sabitzer and Emeka, both those guys, even Royce, they've got great options in those attacking spaces. And
I'm not playing Emeka this weekend. I know you've sold him, haven't you? But I believe he picked up a knock, didn't he?
I'm not too sure. To be honest with you, I've not been paying attention to Dortmund.
Yeah,
but
no, I think he did, but so I'm not playing him this week. But he looked good when he came on. But
he was scoring for Madden pre-season still and everything. And I think when he gets in the team, he'll probably. I don't know if he'll keep Sabitzer out, but they'll need to put Brandt somewhere else. And yeah, let's hope Dortmund get their act together. But Heidenheim, I know Heidenheim, right? Because see, before I played Sorare Ramble Below, I did a lot more like in-play bets and stuff like that. Heidenheim in Division 2 for a long time were a great over 2.5 goal team. Fantastic. It doesn't matter if they were conceding goals or scoring goals. They were always involved in goals for a good couple of seasons. I've not really paid attention to them much in Sorare terms, but I know that their promotion was a wee bit against the odds. I don't think people had them tipped for promotion that season, certainly. But they've got, and I only know this because of, again, community member Thiago did a bit of a wee video on them, something to do with their manager, and they've got a wee bit of a rags to riches tale on the go there, which everyone in football loves. So maybe not a complete write-off of a Bundesliga 2, plucky up-and-comer team, but on paper, it looks like, XG for Dortmund, again, pushing 3, clean sheet potential 41%. So it looks on paper to be one-sided, but Dortmund aren't quite Dortmund, and Heidenheim aren't your run-of-the-mill whipping boy, I don't think, from D2 coming up.
Yeah, I think this could be a slightly closer match. But, I'm sure the coach has been working with the Dortmund guys this week to try and get them going. But, yeah. After that, we've got the Ecuadorian team. They played last night and lost, I think. I can't remember the actual score, but they played last night in the Copa Sudamericana. I'm not even sure what team's going to be put out, but Alvarado obviously is their main guy. He's a card I own, but I'm not playing him this weekend purely based on the fact that he played last night. So yeah, it's a tough one to call. But aside from that, I don't really follow them too much. But yeah, I trust in Sorare data that they've got a decent matchup.
Well, there's no play sharper predicted. Oh no, there is. Sorry, that is them. Sorry, I didn't think there was, and then they were right at the very bottom. I was going to say there's not actually predicted 11, and that might have been because they just played Sudamericana. But then we've got one in, so yeah, they look to be.
Got Alvarado in there.
Alvarado in for 70%, and
yeah, you see, I'm not sure.
Very good. And these teams are always so one-sided at home, aren't they? These South American teams, particularly the ones in the smaller countries. It's just much more of a...
It's the same with all of America, really. I mean, they have to travel so far. You're talking about, traveling from Glasgow to London at the closest for sort of, home games, for away games. But
yeah, fair. So, yeah, I think there'll be a few wee stacks of them, maybe popping up in some cap modes and whatever. And then we've got Bayern München in the top order as well. Away to Gladbach, which is normally the bogey team of Bayern Munich, Well, I was talking about this last night, Monkey. I'll be interested to hear what you think, right? But no Jan Sommer, no Jonas Hoffmann, no Marcus Thuram. That team's really changed quite a bit over this summer, maybe even the last 2 windows. So, is this still the bogey team for Bayern Munich?
I think away, I don't think Bayern Munich have, looked like world beaters to start the season. Obviously, Kane has been banging in the goals, but they haven't looked quite as slick as I'm sure they will do when, they all start firing. It'll be really interesting to see what team they put out, what team got predicted here. Pretty much the same team as last weekend's. Is that right? Just looking through it, looks like it, yeah. So, yeah, it'd be pretty interesting. I think individually, obviously, they're all going to be capable of putting up hundreds. Even Kane, I think, in a Bayern Munich team, in a home matchup, would be capable of putting up 100. I just think that Borussia Mönchengladbach, they looked okay in the first game. In the second game last weekend, obviously they played Bayer Leverkusen, who I think are potentially going to be challenging for the title. I don't think we can judge them on that match. And I think they've got quality. I really like the French guy they've brought in, Honorat. Obviously, I picked him on Sorare Ramble last week as my guy, and I think he actually came out and won it for me, beating off Lagden and you. But nice. I think he's a quality guy, and I've got him in a team this weekend because I think that he's capable of grabbing an assist. He takes that set pieces. So I don't think it's going to be easy for Bayern, but I can see them winning. But I don't think it's a smash spot. And obviously the keeper they've got in as well, their main keeper got injured. What's his name? Jonas Omlin and Maurice Nicolas will potentially be in the sticks, or they have got another guy that played a couple of games last season. I can't remember his name, Jan Okitowski or something like that. But yeah, it's quite interesting. But not sure it's going to be a smash spot. Just seen City News, Guardiola and Grealish in the same team it is then.
Well, I don't know why you're saying that, Hendo, because the predicted team here says that Doku's playing over Grealish. So what news are you seeing?
I mean, I'm pretty sure Pep doesn't even know who's starting tomorrow yet. So if he doesn't know, then who else is going to know?
Yeah.
Pep's probably thinking, oh my God, I've got so many options. Who do I play?
Indeed. So I'll be interested to hear that. If you have Guardiola on a team, I'd be very careful. The guy everyone follows for Man City News has said he's not starting. I've taken him out. Bernardo and Grealish also not starting. Interesting. So better save the day then with that.
So
de-risk them.
Okay.
Interesting. Yes, indeed. We love that for the deadline stream, catching it, so it'll be Ake, then maybe something that's bizarre. But anyway, it is what it is. What do you guys think? Real news? I'm not too sure. I'm going to be de-risking my Guardiola now and my Bernardo Silva as a result, which is a shame, but hey-ho, it is what it is.
We're all going to have some fiddling or team tinkering going on in a bit.
Yeah, and as well, like, off the transfer window, maybe some of you guys out there are nervous to play some cards because they might be getting sold or something like that in real life, maybe transferring club. So if there's anyone who you're not too sure about in that sense, let us know in the live chat. That could be a fun one. Who are you worried gets a transfer and doesn't make the team for the weekend?
For me, it's Mo Salah.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one for sure.
I can't see it happening, but money talks in football. If they come up and offer 200 million and offer him 2 million a week, although even $1 million a week tax-free over there is, absolute goldmine, then can Liverpool turn it down? We have got a lot of strikers. I just don't want to see him go, but...
Yeah, because it must be so tempting for him as well, because I think it's like, you'll be the highest paid player out there, and surely that's a status symbol and a half in terms of, like, brand Salah, if you get me,
Yeah.
Like
I've seen
it.
They rejected 150 million, but
Salah next year, I reckon, a few your pals from Manchester. Salah next year, from BC here, and we've got Kolo Muani, I beg your pardon, perhaps to PSG is one that some people are worried about. So yeah, definitely some transfers happening, and then the team we've got after Bayern Munich there is back to Portugal with Porto, and they've got Nico Gonzalez maybe coming in, and otherwise a relatively steady team, and they are at home to Aruca. 50% chance at a clean sheet, really high chance that Porto score like 2 or 3 goals in this game. Mehdi Taremi is maybe one of these guys you're thinking about. on the deadline you don't want to play because maybe he's going to AC Milan or something like that. You know, he's been linked away even to Saudi Arabia also. So he's on 80% to start, but maybe he's one to watch out for.
I mean, I heard he was virtually on a plane, but
yeah.
Yeah,
Scholderup probably back to Nordisland. I heard Scholderup was leaving Benfica. I've seen that from quite a reliable source over the last week or so. Enrico Man reckons Taremi isn't leaving now. Not scared, but hoping Daniel Schmidt gets a move. Sorry, I'll just move this off screen so we can see that one. Zion Suzuki has been in for a week. Started out, so bit of a busy one there for Blaze. And Borna Sosa has been confirmed to Ajax. I've seen a DM come through for that. And João Cancelo, has that got the here we go? No, it's not. Oh, sorry. I don't know what Hendo sent me. I don't know what the reason for that is, but I don't know if he's just...
It's Sousa. Is he left back?
Yeah, he's like the Croatian left back.
Yeah. What's his name? Vindale is really not impressed. But so makes sense. They're probably trying to move him on, I'd imagine. But
as they do. And then the next team we've got there, Monkey, is another Sorare favourite. There's definitely a lot of power players in this team, a few different stacks out there. They knocked Rangers out of the Champions League midweek, of course. The one, the only PSV Eindhoven. So they're going out with that looks pretty much like the same team that played against Rangers, isn't it? I think it is. Exact same team.
Yeah. Do you see them rolling out exactly the same team?
Well, there's no even any options for rotation, so he must be dead set, Peter Bosch, on playing the same team again away to Warwick, which we know Warwick have got a good goalkeeper, and I don't think the team are a complete write-off, so excuse me, they're sitting in fourth at the moment, so yeah, they can't take anything lightly. They want to get points on the board sooner rather than later. They're still bedding in Serginho Dest, and yeah, sure, if these guys are hot in form, Bakayoko is going to be staying now as well. I've seen reports of that. Now they've qualified for the Champions League. Yeah, easy decision to make when you're qualified for the Champions League, isn't it? I'll just stay for the groups now, you know. So yeah, I think they're looking good, and you know they'll probably want to rinse and repeat this weekend, and then maybe look to rotate thereafter.
And there's talk of Hirving Lozano coming in. I don't know whether that was dependent on Bakayoko leaving. Not sure. But yeah, you know, I think Rangers fans surely thought that PSV were going to go through, but
I think when they got the draw in the first game, they were a wee bit more optimistic that they could have went and got something. And I didn't watch the game, but when you seen the way it went, like they missed a penalty, or I don't know, I think there was a goal offside or something, but something went against them a wee bit. They could have got their way back in, and they didn't. Amrabat confirmed to Man United. That's been one of the most pointlessly long transfer sagas ever. I don't think anyone else was ever in for him. It was just Man United, and it took like a month to get done. It's just laughable, really, isn't it? So Amrabat to Man United. There you go. Sosa limited from 6 to 26. That's a quick increase for sure. And Chucky's been linked all over, including back to MLS or back to North America at least.
Yeah, he has. Yeah. Obviously, it's getting late in the day, so where's he going to go? But
time is ticking, and then that's a sore one for me to see, Monkey. We've got a wee bit of a Madrid derby. We've got Real Madrid at home to Getafe. I don't know why I said it like that, but that's the way I said it.
You've got a Getafe keeper, haven't you?
Yeah, so I don't like to see that he's playing bloody Real Madrid again. He had Barcelona in the opening weeks, but I guess that means I must have a good series of Glazernomics. A good series of fixtures maybe on the horizon for me, but Real Madrid playing Getafe is not too fun for me.
It isn't, but you know, your keeper then is either going to get 35 or 100.
Yeah. Well, he scores really good. He got a clean sheet against Barca, and I think he got like 80 or something. So miracles happen, but I don't know if they happen that often where I can get 2 of them in 3 weeks or whatever it would be. But that's because Bellingham looks amazing now. Like the Real Madrid haven't quite totally hit the ground running. I think there's been a few wee complaints about performances and stuff like that, but they've been getting the points. You know, they've been coming in clutch and getting results over the line, and they do feel semi-unstoppable in that sense at the moment, where they've just got so much going for them. So I think it has to be a Real Madrid win, doesn't it?
Yeah, you would think so, wouldn't you? But can Bellingham keep up the scoring? It's crazy at the moment. But
In the last 3 games, an average of 93 points, which makes his L5 93, which is incredible. Real's attack isn't scoring a lot of goals. That is kind of the problem. If Joselu comes in, he's much more of a target man than what they've had kind of filling in there before when they've tried to play like Vinicius and Rodrigo, and then they were playing Bellingham almost in a false kind of Benzema position. But if they play Joselu up there, I think you'll see a different Rodrigo, a different Valverde probably. It will be interesting, but what the impact will be on Bellingham. I still fancy him to get in the box and go beyond and do that kind of thing because it's very much in his bag, you know what I mean? But a midfield free monkey of Tchouameni, Camavinga and Bellingham just feels too good to be true, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
It's kind of like cheating, eh?
Makes me jealous.
The Getafe team, if anyone's interested, Big Soria's playing. John Churches is right winger. No place for Elena. He's been dropped ever since Harry Trades won him as a reward. My little boy, Carlos Elena, was nailed on to play every week, and then Harry wins him, and he goes to the bench. So I'm blaming Harry for that because he badmouthed Elena before, and I think he's given some bad juju on that one. We're waiting for Arda Güler to return for Real Madrid as well for Eza Sorare. And I think, if you've put Arda Güler into this equation as well, like Real Madrid have got a real proper team at the moment, you know.
Isn't Arda Güler done his ACL?
Oh, I didn't think it was anything as serious as that, is it?
I heard that he'd done his ACL. I thought they'd had 3, but could be wrong. But
I knew he was injured.
Enough,
I didn't think it was a big baddie one like that. Interesting.
Yeah.
Chat, feel free to let us know what the script is with Güler. What is his actual dealio?
Yeah, I don't own him, so I've got absolutely no idea. But I'm pretty sure I saw that somewhere. But
no, good catch, Monkey. That's totally news to me. The next one we've got is I love seeing Croatia high up in this list because I think Croatia is a great division for Sorare scouts and managers of all levels of the game, no matter what colour of card you normally kind of knock around with. And Hajduk Split is maybe like the first team you would look at if you were like, oh, I don't really want to shell out for Zagreb, or I don't want to go with Zagreb. Hajduk Split's the next one. So I always like Hajduk Split as a wee kind of underdog stack that could be, kind of out there with a few guys. And they've got a few individual cards that I know a lot of guys in the community here have picked up. And they've got a great game, apparently, at home to, who is it they've actually got? Sorry, Istria. So Lucic stays in goals. Krovinovic is in midfield, along with Ojija Ofoe still. And then Lavaja up front. There's some of the names that will be familiar to you. No Ferro.
Sahiti, who's going to be in one of my teams as a forward this weekend.
Oh, Sahiti. And what's his deal?
He had a cracking. He's had a few injuries and stuff like that. Then he was away on. Was it international? I can't remember. But anyway, he's back now, and it looks like he's going to be. They haven't got to worry about Europe anymore because they're out of that. So, yeah, someone's saying ACL Gula. Yeah, no, I think it was an ACL, but
someone says no knee issues, but not ACL.
Either way, he's not going to be playing for a while. But
yeah.
I think you were just about to say about Ferro. Is that right?
Yeah, it's surprising because he was so cheat code, wasn't he? Like his first time there. And it's just, I don't know, like he's maybe just went back because, I don't know, maybe he's got a wee local bird that he was in love with or something, and he's just went back for the good life in Croatia. He doesn't care about getting in the team anymore. Something. But it's so weird how he's not like nailed on in that team. And even this guy Diallo's got an L5 of 65. He's not exactly no slump himself. So yeah, interesting.
My team, the team that I've got limited and rare stacks of is Dinamo Zagreb, but I can't play any of their players this weekend with any sort of certainty.
Oh yeah, let's have a look at Zagreb since we're talking about them then, because they are away to Osijek. Then Osijek are no mugs either.
Yeah. I mean, Zagreb haven't started the season well, but they've had games twice a week because of the European qualification, and obviously, that's not gone well. And they started out the Champions League, and it looks like they've ended up in the Conference League groups. So, probably worst case scenario for making money for the club. And they were holding on to Livakovic and Sitalo, for as long as possible, hoping to get into the Champions League so they can make some money. Yeah, obviously both those players have gone now. Sitalo, I think, is expected to start pretty soon at Ajax, so I think we come on to in a minute. But they've still got a decent squad, and they've got a new coach in now. They sacked, what was his name? The old Liverpool player, Igor Biscan. and they've brought in the coach from Rijeka, is it? I can't remember. Who are actually above Dinamo Kiev in the league at the moment. But so it'd be interesting to see what happens with those guys. But
yeah. Definitely not a power play for Zagreb this week. That's definitely unusual. But yeah, Ajax is actually next. You're spot on there, Monkey. Reading ahead of the game, and they are away to Sittard. Ajax have been definitely making a lot of headlines in this window. You know, signing Borna Sosa, we've mentioned that today. And I think they might have signed somebody else, like kind of like in the immediate, like the last day or so. But I'm forgetting who it might be. But as we pull up the team for the weekend,
they've signed the guy from Metz, haven't they? The striker, the Georgian striker, Mitas Lasky or something like that.
Yeah,
really quality player. It'd be interesting to see how well he does there. He was crazy good on So Rare. He was crazy good on in Div 2 in Ligue 2 last season. And he started the season in Ligue 1 reasonably well as well. I think he scored and got an assist. So for a team that was, potentially going to be whipping boys, there we go. Mick, I can't even pronounce that. Mikitadze. Yeah, Joe Ducey knows his shit.
That's it. Those are, and Big Van de Boomen, Tahirovic here. These guys have all got cards now. New season issues are all out. So a lot of this Ajax team, because it's been filled in with departing players going out, new guys coming through the academy, as well as some transfers. A lot of these guys are now getting filled out and getting cards. I don't think we're going to get a Satalo Ajax card, and we've still not got cards for Borges or Akpom. But it's good to see a Big Van de Boomen, a Tahirovic there. And I think this is Ajax maybe aren't as stacked a team on people's game week entries, maybe in these game weeks, Monkey, as they maybe were like 2 years ago. I don't think Ajax are quite that prominent as much, eh?
No, but I fancy them to find their form. I think Satalo is an incredible centre-back who, is going to be dominant. He's going to hopefully can get onto the corners. Branko van der Boomen's not, he had a great first game. He had a good cup game, but he's not really had the opportunity to put up those massive, massive scores yet. But I can see him banging hundreds. Kenneth Taylor, I'm a little bit unsold on still. I think the guy they've just got in, Miku Tadzi, he's got potential. From what it looks like, they're still trying to get work done today and trying to bring more people in. But yeah, I think they'll do better than they have been doing. I don't think they'll challenge for the league. Yeah. I think the league is PSV and Feyenoord if they get the team together.
Yeah, PSV definitely look good so far, and yeah, Ajax on the back foot. Last get at home.
That AZ, they've just got a conveyor belt of talent coming through. Honestly, like forward players they've got sitting on the bench at the weekend. What's his name? The Swedish guy, Lado, whatever, Poku. Honestly, Ruben van Bommel obviously started the season on the left there. Van Bruyden, he was on the bench. I don't know whether he came on last night, but if he didn't, obviously that's positive signs that he's close to returning. I was hoping Pavlidis would leave so we can get some of these new guys in because I've got a few of their cards. But defence-wise, they're a little bit lacking. I think at the moment they've got two midfielders playing as centre-backs. But Wouter goes, should be back at some time in the not too distant future. And I think he's going to be a cracking U23 centre-back. They've got Maxime Decker, who's another great guy who's coming through. Another guy I'm really high on. I've completely forgotten his name. But he's injured as well. But what really was his name? I've got his super rare and his limited card, and I can't think of his name. He got injured and he was expected to play a big part this season as well. But yeah, no, really interesting. They've got so much quality coming through that if they can manage to hold on to some of these players for a season rather than having to sell them on constantly like they've been doing over the last few years, then maybe they could challenge for the top.
Yeah. Showshix has maybe got your back here, Van Brederode or Van Brederode or something.
Yeah, he's the guy that was on the bench last night and came back in. He obviously got a lot of game time at the end of last season, and people expected him to sort of be the replacement for I'm drawing a blank again. Who's the guy that was meant to leave? Larson? No.
Jesper Karlsson.
Yes, Jesper Karlsson, yeah. Jesper Karlsson, as far as I can see, is still there, isn't he? Although it looks like he's injured again. But...
Yeah, I think so. So, yeah, he's definitely on the rise, Monkey. That's a solid shout. I love that.
Yeah.
And then we've got a wee bit of Austria. I'm just trying to think now. So, we're at 10-2. We're approaching the final hour. So, one thing is we'll look at Lask, we'll look at Chelsea, Galatasaray, Besiktas. I guess we finish with Sociedad. We'll finish with Sociedad. So we'll go Lask to Sociedad, and then we'll move into all the other. We'll do the giveaway after that, and then we'll move into the second half of the stream to going towards the countdown against the deadline. Make sure your teams are all set and all that good stuff. So Lask in Austria. Now, the reason I don't mind having a wee sconce at Lask, because again, like, I think they're a team that a lot of people, no matter what colour you're playing, probably look at Lask as a decent option for some budget players. And they're always a good team to have a wee predicted view on. So, Tobias Lawal in goals. I think he's on loan from a team in England, maybe Arsenal or Liverpool or something like that. And then, yeah, some decent other guys. I don't really know any of them, to be honest with you. But Mishoro's been on lists. He's like a kind of ever-present midfielder. Andrade. I actually looked at this guy. See when I seen that he moved into here because he played, he got cards in the Bundesliga. And he was really bad in the Bundesliga.
Bochum, was it? They got relegated?
Yeah. It was one of those teams. It was Bochum or Bielefeld, or was one of them. Definitely a blue team, because that's what he's in that picture, and that's how I know for sure. I'm not tripping.
Yeah.
But he is a Panama international, and when I seen him make that move to Lask, I thought, oh, that might actually be pretty good, because in Germany he was either not playing or he was bad. And if he goes to Austria, a bit of a step down, and if he's halfway decent, and he plays for Panama, you know what I mean? Like, so he's always going to be getting some caps, isn't he? Whatever use that's going to be worth. L5 of 58 grabs my eye, so he's also started a wee bit of life in Austria pretty well. And they're at home to this team, Austria Lustenau, who Sardanovic comes up in my search histories quite a lot for some reason. I forget why. I think he maybe takes some set pieces or something.
Yeah, he did. I used to own him, but I haven't got too many Austrian guys at the moment, but I will be paying more attention to them. Obviously, Liverpool have been drawn in a group with Lask. So, maybe I'll tune in this weekend. And sorry, Ross Henderson, I will get my head out my arse.
And the other guy,
remembering names of even my friends, so it's going to be difficult remembering the names of some of the players. But
it's hard done, by the way. So many people you've got to touch base with on Sorare. But one guy as well, just before we move away from there, this guy Anderson. I think he's maybe got. He came up on my search results again this season. And see, every time I search the Austrian Bundesliga, whenever it comes out, this guy always ends up in my favourites list on kind of underlying reasons. I don't think he's ever really popped through, but I think he's maybe starting to get a bit of a run. I don't really know what his script is, but I think he came up in my search recently, and I thought, if you're a wee budget guy, that Anderson's an option again. So there's a name for somebody out there if you're watching.
If I'm honest, I probably will buy some more Austrian players, but I'll wait now until towards the winter break, because obviously Austrian players just come out, new season cards, going to be super expensive now. And they have that massive, redonkulous winter break, which lasts for about half the year, it seems like. Although I think it's about 3 months, isn't it? Sort of December, January, then come back at the end of Feb. But it just feels ridiculously long. But their prices tend to get really cheap, sort of as you head towards December. So if you can spot some guys you want, then that's a good time to buy them if you can afford to sort of sit in them for a while. But right, move on.
Yeah, just catch up with some comments there as well. Chelsea.
Chelsea.
So last week, Chelsea made headlines, Monkey, because they banged. Everyone in the team banged except Enzo. So Chelsea have got a good fixture this week, apparently, again, at home to Forest. But will Enzo actually bang is maybe the question Chelsea stackers are thinking about this weekend. But
the annoying thing is that I played Enzo, 1, and 2, I watched the game and I actually thought he was probably one of the better players on the pitch. Sterling was brilliant. I'm absolutely shocked he didn't make it back into the squad, the England squads. I thought, I understand, but, you got Callum Wilson in there. He's playing like less minutes than Raheem Sterling.
Yeah.
You've got other guys in there. Yes, they haven't done anything wrong, but at the end of the day, you have to draw a line and say Sterling is a better player. and Southgate's trusted him. It makes me feel like there's something going on behind the scenes, but I don't know. But yeah, Chelsea, I think Enzo, he's going to bang. He's taking, some of the set pieces. He literally is just everywhere in that midfield. I think he's going to put up more hundreds this year. I'll cover my base. I think more 90 pluses than he's going to put up sub 45s.
Fair. I can see that, if they keep going the way they've been going. But he's definitely showed he's not just a flash in the pan, coming over from River to Benfica and winning the World Cup and ended up at Chelsea. Like, he's firmly, like, you can see he's top quality. And
yeah, no, he's a superstar, definitely.
The Nottingham Forest team isn't too half bad. Awani, I always struggle to say his name, but he's been making headlines all over the place, not just in the Sorare community for once. Morgan Gibbs-White's been good. They've got this Aranga guy that Man United seem to really rate highly enough. And yeah, they've got an interesting enough team, I suppose, but you've got to think that's a good one for Chelsea waiting to happen, eh?
And Brendan Johnson, I noticed Harry himself was praying for the move to Tottenham, which in the way that Big Angie's playing, that could be a really good move. I don't know how far it's got. As we were coming on air, it wasn't quite done, but it was getting down the line.
That will be a huge move SO5-wise for Brendan Johnson, because he'll just turn into Kyogo. That's what he'll be there to do, is the Kyogo job. It might not be great for AA, but he's going to be in amongst the decisives all the time. So I think you take that for your forward super rare card if you're Harry, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And then who have we got off to Chelsea? Galatasaray, who've
been money bags in it this transfer window, haven't they?
Yeah,
splashing all the cash.
I think they've disappointed, haven't they? A lot of owners so far. I'm not sure why. Haven't really been following them too much. I used to own Mario Icardi, but as soon as news broke that he was going to Saudi, I thought he's exactly the kind of player that would go to Saudi. Just seems like that kind of guy. And obviously, out of all of the bloody players, he's the one that stayed. So I sold it to a bot for like 0.1, and he's worth 2 or 3 times that now. But
oh mate, see, yesterday I Pavel traded my Haksabanovic midfielder card because I thought it was going to go to PAOK, the Greek team. And then after I'd done the deal, I Paveled it out. I seen a notification saying he's on his way to have a medical at Stoke. And I was like, oh, you bastard. That's like way better than PAOK, over in Greece. So I was pretty gutted that I did that myself, mate. In the transfer window, I've managed to dodge a lot of those. That was a bad egg on face moment for me yesterday. And it was all over the space of a couple hours. There was like solid reports to Haksabanovic signing for 3 teams yesterday. So it was a bit of a whirlwind. Who knows what to believe, really? So I've just gave up on it now. But just when you said that,
I'll tell you one thing: I cannot wait for midnight to get past this evening, so I can mute then about, like, I've got the Turkish, transfer expert. I've got experts from all over Europe, and literally I get like 50 notifications on Twitter probably every 20 minutes. But so it's tough trying to keep on top of that. But I can turn all those off as of tomorrow.
You need to be that quick as well, especially for, like your own cards. Sometimes depends on what the situation is. Like, you need to know news as soon as it's available. So
yeah.
Definitely for deep end players, it's a different experience, isn't it?
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah.
And then we've got, Galatasaray, really strong team there. A lot of the stars playing away from home to bottom of the league. Cool. Now, one thing I want to say about the Turkish guys is after this game, they're actually like off for like 2 weeks or something. As far as the fixture list looks, when I looked at it like a day ago or something.
Break, isn't it?
Is it? Oh no. After this game week, is it? Is it not? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. Next game week is like there's 1 day of internationals and then a couple of other games from sort of South America, I think. Then you have a full international slate that next weekend. But a lot of the European teams haven't shown up on Sorare data yet, although it looks like they've got fixtures now in Sorare. I guess we'll find out after lock, but
something about it threw me off. I'm just wondering what it is now, but fair enough. I was just thinking basically they'll be going for it. They won't really be worried about rotating as much and whatever. But the Besiktas team looks pretty good as well. Big Gunuk will be in goals. It looks like pretty nailed on there at 95%. Yeah. And again, there's a lot of names here, Monkey, that are familiar to lots of Sorare managers. Hadzimetovic, Gedson Fernandez, Abubakar's back in the house, Jackson Muleka, and Rashika might finally happen.
Yeah. And Fernandez as well has started the season brilliantly.
Yeah, L571.
He honestly has these sort of, periods where he looks like a world beater, and then for whatever reason, she doesn't manage to put it in big scores. But
yeah, as the next weekend, fair enough. I don't know how I must have got my wires crossed on it somehow. That there was like something different about the way Turkey were doing it. They were stopping a bit quicker or something. So yeah, fair enough. And then we've got Leeds in the Championship. So I don't think we've had any of our Championship teams pop up yet, have we? As a dominant fixture at home is Chef Wed.
Yeah, no, all like Norwich, Watford, they're away, I think, and I think Coventry are playing. They're at home to Watford. So basically, a lot of the licensed teams are up against each other this season, this weekend. Some of the unlicensed teams, I thought Southampton had a decent matchup. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh no, Leicester, I think, have got a decent home matchup against Rotherham.
So should be a good game for sure. There's Barry Bannon.
So who Leeds up against? Sorry,
Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, Sheffield Wednesday got promoted last season, didn't they? And they haven't exactly hit the ground running. They obviously lost their manager. I think that'll be a tough tough game for them. And Leeds, obviously, I don't know whether Nonto sounds like he's set to stay now. Looked brilliant when he came on last week. That and Sinistera, Perot. They're sort of front four that they can put out is real quality. And Dijed Spence has come across from on loan from Spurs. He's a decent youngster who has suffered for injuries a bit. So
maybe there's transfer activity for the wingers today. Says BC. Yeah. Great contributions today. Thanks a lot, buddy. But yeah, maybe a wee bit dodgy. And
I think every team in the land is going to be happy when midnight rolls over, unless they've got players that Saudi want to buy, because I think they can still buy them into next month, can't they? But...
And then the final one we've got, their deadline is like the 12th of the month or something like that, something unusual.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And then the last one we've got is Real Sociedad, which I thought was nice to see there and a nice checkpoint for us to finish off at. Kieran Tierney's just signed here. He's still down as like 10% to get a game. I think he goes straight in, but he probably doesn't. But yeah, Sociedad are at home. They're in the Champions League. They're buzzing. They've made some good signings this window. And yeah, team looks pretty strong by all accounts. Even the rotation options are all really good. Zakarian is in the house now as well. He'll be pushing to get into the team. And yeah, it's a really, really good team. And they're at home, which is always a good benefit, particularly in Spain. And Granada, which are just been promoted up. And where do they sit now? Down at the bottom end. They've not been collecting points thus far. Not been making any headlines. And I'm not too sure they've been making... Oh, they did. They get Lucas Boy in. They did. They got their striker.
Yeah, they've got him in. And I think that's a big signing for them. But they could struggle this year. Sorry, Sam.
Sorry, Sam. Yeah, try to dance around it. Try to dance around it this time, because last time Granada came up as a favourable opponent, he wasn't too happy. So, sorry, Sam. But yeah, another good game against Granada, which is good. Saudi deadline is around the 20th, says Kalo Kmo. So thanks very much for that, buddy. And Monkey Boy, that'll just about do it, I think, for the matchups tab. I think they're probably the most dominant fixtures that we've got this game week. And having a quick glance back at what we've got, there was a real challenger and champion theme going through both of them. Real European strength this week. I didn't really see. We had the Ecuadorian team, of course, but I didn't see anything else really from the Americas pop up, or even Asia. There was no OP Korea or Japan game coming in there, so it's all about Europe this week.
It is, but I think you need to bear in mind that this matchups tab, takes into account a multitude of variables, and often for a lot of the American teams, you don't have that data in. So it's like when, the start of the week, you'll go in and look at see who've got the pick scores are. And, some of the players have got a pick score of D are actually going to a triple A matchup. But so I think, you do need to take that with a bit of pinch of salt. But yeah, some of the big teams are away from home this weekend. Into Miami, I think they're at home, aren't they? So Messi could have a field day, but
The thing with MLS as well, so there was a lot of midweek action. I think there's some last-minute question marks over fitness and whatever. So I guess as the chat maybe gets their keyboards and their fingers ready for maybe some quiz time or something, I'll have a wee sconce over MLS, because I seen a comment earlier, Monkey, and they're like, want to know what you think, Quinny, about Barraza and Freeze. I think Freeze stays. I think the game that the NYC coaching staff play is clean sheet or not, kind of thing. So I think with Freeze getting the clean sheet midweek, I make him more than likely to retain his place. But the reason it's on Play Sharper is 50-50, I would completely agree with, because it might have been Freeze only came in just for one game. That might be the thing that happened there. So I think this game really tells you what will happen for the goalkeeper position for the last 7 games or whatever. But I'm picking Freeze over Barraza, personally.
I personally think Freeze deserves a shot.
Yeah,
I think the last 2 times he's come in, this week he kept a clean sheet in a win. He had a decent game in the League's Cup. In fact, the only game where he's had a bit of a piss game was his first game that he came in. But I think he deserves a shot. He's come to New York to play. He doesn't want to, he was sitting behind Andre Blake for 2 years. And now he's come here and he's sitting behind a guy that looks, he's got the same body type as me. He doesn't look athletic, the guy that got in goal. What's his name? Barraza.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Freeze looks like, he looks like a goalkeeper that I would trust in the net. But, obviously up to the manager.
Yeah. Somebody's mentioned Cincinnati at home is always a good fixture, and I think that's quite right. Cincinnati beat Atlanta, I think, midweek, didn't they?
Yeah,
correct me if I'm wrong on that. Yeah, it's a good result for them. We've got the Cascadia Derby. I'm pretty sure that's what you call it. Seattle versus Portland. So this will be a spicy one. We've got the Celtic Rangers game on the same day, technically, on the calendar. So a wee bit of derby action there for some teams that are connected to me in a weird way, which is fun. So the Seattle team kind of picks itself. Obed Vargas is in here over Rusnak's further up the pitch. Because we're missing Rui Diaz, probably. Jordan Morris is going to play an attack. Interesting. So it's going to be a bit safer. Portland have been pretty mince recently. And yeah, I can see kind of why. There's not really much going on in this team here. Evander is meant to be the guy. Hasn't really been the guy, I suppose. But yeah, decent there. And let's see, what was the other one you said there, Cincinnati? Cincy. Oh, at home to Orlando. That will be a bit of fun for Cincy cards. Barreal, Moreno, Acosta, Vasquez, and Sergio Santos. Yeah, I think that's going to be a good couple of decisives across those guys. Arias as well is coming into a bit of a game, it looks like. And yeah, Orlando.
I noticed
this Orlando team never seems to change, does it? This Orlando team looks the same every week.
Yeah, they've got an injury to, what's his name, the Brazilian centre-back, Antonio Carlos. So I think these two are going to be playing for the time being. A lot was expected of them. They've got some really decent attacking players like Angulo, Torres, obviously everyone knows about. Mauricio Pereira is excellent. Maguire is real up-and-coming striker, although he's not really, had a great season so far. But I know a couple of guys who like Orlando, and they're really up on the season, but just not happened for them so far.
Yeah. I say I'm always just, whenever I look at the team, I just see Mauricio Pereira, Robin Janssen, Galese. It's just always the same characters over and over again. Always see a bit of Schlegel. Did miss the Carlos, as you say. But yeah, so I think this will probably be quite a good game for Cincy. They're normally pretty good at home. And Orlando, if they are going to let you down, it probably is on the road. So it's probably a good game for that risk from that point of view. I'm just thinking, anything else in MLS to have a quick glance at? Anything that jumps out? I want to check if Johnny Russell's in this team, because I think he's injured. Yeah, he is injured, doesn't he? Yeah, so that's fine. No Johnny, that's fine. And I think that gets us up to speed with most of that stuff, Monkey Boy. So you were teasing the people in the live chat earlier on with a bit of a giveaway, a bit of a special one for this week. What have you got for the guys and gals that have been joining in on the stream today?
Well, I apologise in advance. I thought this guy was going to play this weekend. Either way, he's a quality guy to have in your squad. And that is the guy I'm now sharing on my screen.
Oh, Bernardo. Hey. What a belter. I think he plays, but also we've had some news about Grealish and Guardiola. I don't know if the news explicitly implicated Bernardo, but I'm de-risking him, and it's hard to imagine you prioritise him this week. But beautiful card, mate. Very, very generous, and a guy that is going to be ever present. I said that when I picked him up. He's a cap mode guy. He's always going to feature. Might not always start. So yeah, really nice card, mate.
Yeah, and obviously the international break coming up, providing he's fit. I don't know why he wasn't in the team last weekend. Any idea?
He came back into the team last week. He played last week, I'm sure, and I think it was before I got him, but he had a decent score. He's played once this week after he signed his contract, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And again, I may be remembering that slightly wrong, so I'm just going to double check. But
regardless, I think we know he's going to be a big player this season.
Yeah,
he was obviously tempted to leave. He's decided to stay by the sounds of it now, and he's a world-class player. But wish he was a midfield forward card. That would make him even better, I think. But either way, he's still going to score big for you a lot of times. But especially for Portugal as well, he's a really nice player for them. But yeah. So how many likes we whipped on stream? Can you see?
Oh, where is the screen for that? Sorry, I'm not even sure I fired that up for today because I thought, yeah, I normally have that done beforehand. Sorry, Monkey, give me 2 ticks and I'll let you know. We should have a bunch of likes on by now. You're dead right there. And we have at the moment, we're at 52. We've got 126 Sorare scouts and managers from around the world. I normally like to see us at 67 because that's when Celtic won the European Cup. So we're at 60 now. I can see them flying up now that we've mentioned it. Can we get to 67? I think that's a good point. And then we'll give you the question or we'll give you the thing we want to do. Have I got something we could do from the stream?
I've got one question. I think I could ask.
Oh, you got one.
How was your midweek? Was it all right?
My midweek was not good. No, it was close, but I played Baraza over Freeze in my bigger team, and then Freeze played, and then the team I had Freeze in didn't do well enough, even though Freeze played. So it was nothing for me, mate.
Yeah, I've had a bit of a belter, but
nice.
A cracking week so far. But let me just share this screen with you.
Okay.
And I'll get rid of that.
Club Brugge have got a more rotten draw in the Conference League. They've got Besiktas, Legano from Switzerland, and then Bodo Glimt. Yeah, that was really tough for Bruges.
Right. So, yeah, you can see I've had a pretty good weekend. Obviously, all my limited rewards will be giving away. So I came second in America. So,
wow.
I think it was Metal OCD on Twitter is going to be winning a nice little haul here. Some decent. What I want to know is, and the question is, who was my highest scoring rare card?
Great question. And will we take just any reference to the player, second name only, full name, you don't care, or do we want?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be pretty obvious with the surname, obviously, but first name, I've got a couple with that. So, yeah, stick the surname in. So I expect some names will start flying through any second.
Cool. Now give it a wee second. Even if you see a right answer, just give it a wee second because everyone's behind us.
Rare card.
Rare.
And he had to be in a scoring team. So not academy teams.
Yeah.
Oof, there we go.
That's a great question.
Oh, on the screen, I can see a few that are coming through that have got it right. So we've got a winner.
Oofed.
How do I find out all of the winners? Can you see it?
Yeah. So I've got it in the chat here, mate. Just give me 2 seconds.
So the winner.
So what was the right answer? Sorry.
The right answer was Juan Bernetta.
Juan Bernetta. So
I've seen like a few going through with that.
So let me see. The very first Juan Bernetta I've got coming through.
In Sorare, I could be wrong.
Yeah, I've got it. The very first person was Joe Ducey.
Joe Ducey.
Joe Ducey. Let me go and find it on this as well so I can just put it on screen. Yeah. He was the first one on the actual YouTube system, and then I found him on this one. I think he's the first one on this system as well. Yes, he is. Excellent. Congratulations, Joe. What a win. GG's. That is an absolute topper.
Right. Joe, do you want to DM me on Twitter or just say your manager name in here and I'll whack it across?
Congratulations, Joe Ducey and Monkey. Great giveaway, mate. Well done. And that was a great one to see people digging through and throwing all those names out. That was fantastic, buddy. That was a good one. A lot of people would be jumping onto the Sorare Data app, typing in Monkey, going and finding it. Or I don't know if some people were just taking some random stabs, but looking at some of these names we got here.
The top guy I had in my highest scoring guy was in an academy team, as they always are. And the next guy after that, I think, was in Lorenzo Insigne. Yeah, he's a limited card. So then it was Juan Bernetta.
Lovely. Do you want to show some of the teams you're building for this game week, Monkey?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
2 seconds.
So I've got one or two, as you guys can see. Trying to target Cap 240 Super Rare. I've got the threshold there, sort of 2 weeks out of the last 3. I'd like to try and get back on track again this weekend, but probably going to need a clean sheet from Higashiguchi, and that's never particularly a high chance of that happening. But they are away against Contadorli this weekend. But my main teams, I've obviously got limited teams where I haven't decided what I'm doing yet. I did say I'd give away all rewards in August. I might extend that out. So I'm just having to think about what to do with that at the moment. And I will announce over the weekend. But yeah, I've got all my limited teams in. Hopefully a few of those can do pretty well. My rare teams are the ones that I'm most excited about. But as opposed to the sort of the big names, I've got a decent team going into Cap 240, trying to get guys with a lot of home games. So we've got the Marseille guys, obviously they're away. Then I've got Avalos, who their manager's just changed, but he'd be a really good shout for, some points. Alex Garcia's got a AAA rating on Sorare Data. But I've got some pretty good teams. What about you, Quinny? Are you back?
Yeah, I'm back, buddy. I'm back. And I just had to grab us there. So thanks very much. BC saying just a few teams for you. And Joe Ducey's thrown his club name up there. But yeah, I'll be doing some last minute adjustments, I think. And I definitely don't feel that guilty about doing it at this point in the deadline, because it is quite last minute and it is some breaking news I need to deal with these Man City guys that apparently are not going to be playing anymore. So we need to go and de-risk and rotate, which is going to be a real kind of worms issue for me, Monkey. So maybe you can help me make sure I don't make an arse of it and make sure that we still end up with some winning teams. So yeah, we're going to be taking Bernardo out for Goretzka, because that was the way that was anyway. So I'll just fix that. And then that's fine. There was no Guardiola in here anyway. That's cool. I think Guardiola was an All-Star, wasn't he? So who's my next best defender? It's red. It's not Frimpong. So maybe Robbo at home to Villa. It's not that great a game. And who else? I've got Angelino. Actually, I've got Angelino who's on to play, so I think we'll be picking him. Using our lineup. We've got Angelino somewhere, don't we? Yeah, nice replacement. Nice. Real happy with that, actually. Okay, cool. And that's kind of butchered this punty team that I had Trubin going to be operating in. That's basically the 2 rares from that. So do I still play maybe Guardiola in here? No, or Bernardo? Bernardo's maybe still worth a punt.
Joe Ducey, I've just sent that card across, so give your browser a refresh and you should have it. Hopefully brings you a bit of joy. And Quinny as well, as another owner. Are you not going to put Trubin in a team now then?
Well, I had him in a kind of punty team, and now I'm just looking at what I had around it and just thinking what to do, because those 2 super rares I think will have a good week anyway. And what I was actually quite surprised with is David Marshall played against Aston Villa this week. So I thought, oh, brilliant. I actually can use him in maybe a wee crap 220 team or something, because I wouldn't even put him into All-Star Rare Pro because he's so rubbish. I think I would rather play Trubin in the hope that he did play, you know. So I think Marshall would be worse than a hole in the head in that division because he's just a bloody liability. Whereas with 220, I don't mind putting him in. Maybe something happens. So I don't know if I maybe need to readjust this now completely in some respects. But I'm quite happy those two main teams can be relatively unaffected, which is good fun. So the City team is looking like Doku is going to be playing. Sorry,
I'm just going to go and top off my Diet Coke and I'll be back in a sec.
Of course, no problem, Monkey. We'll see Monkey when he returns. But yeah, Man City team looks like it's going to be Grealish and Guardiola are going to be rotated. Funny enough, I think that Silva opens Prem Pro for me. Oh, lovely. That's brilliant, Joe. La Liga EA Sports sounds horrible in my opinion. Yeah, it does, big time. I don't think, sorry, I want to call it EAFC or whatever. So I think that, I'm not sure what the actual title is for it. And Will and Joe again, of course. So I'm now looking at, I know Tierney probably won't play. I think he might, but so that's there. And I think it's probably a good point in the game week to check in on the head count as well and see the strength of all these teams. Yeah, I'm quite happy with where all this stuff is sitting. I think I want to mess around with it too much, but what I'm worried about is not maximizing those other cards. So I'm probably going to delete Pro at the moment. And then I'm going to take that team that has the Marshall in it. 'Cause I know Marshall will play. And I'm going to just actually try and make that a bit stronger if I can. And then I'll make the Pro team with Trubin with whatever I can left. I'll maybe use Scales with Trubin because I don't fancy him to play. It's a wee bit sketchy. I don't want to play him anywhere competitive. So I'll probably keep Tierney in there. But instead of Riquelme, I can take Herrera. And instead of Cunha, I can take Stuani. We still don't have Danish league on Play Sharper, do we? Share this tab. Yeah, still no Danish league. So I don't know if Jordan's going to play or not. So I kind of want to dodge that because he's not been in good form. Llorente is not in any of the training lineups that I'm getting on social media. So maybe it is Cunha I take over Llorente because I know he'll play against Palace. Or maybe I take Riquelme because he's on to play maybe against Sevilla. I'm going to play Riquelme. Screw it. Let's do that. Yeah, okay. That's cool by me. And then let's see if I can knock a wee Pro team together with Trubin in the hope that Trubin plays. We'll put Scales in defence because and I think that's good because then if I've got Scales in a team, then I won't feel, at least I'll feel he's got a lot of representation and Monkey's back with us. So yeah, I could go Trubin, Scales. This would be a real long shot team, I think, because all my other options are real long shots. I wonder if they think, do we get a predicted team for Braga? No. That's rubbish. Need to work on that. Let's see. So yeah, I'd probably say this is going to be a real long shot team anyway, and stick in Bernardo in midfield because he'll feature. He'll come off the bench regardless. I could maybe then play Larson as a play then because again, like he'll definitely feature. He might not start because I don't think he's been in good form. They play in 2 days from now, so yeah, decent rest, decent super rare maybe. Do I have any other forward options?
There's an Austrian Bundesliga special this weekend.
Oh, yes, there is. Let's go and have a look at that in a second. Sorry, I just want to have a wee peek at River Plate. They did. I think they did one tweet about it.
What do I need? Just one Bundesliga player.
Just one? Interesting. Right, that's not too bad at all.
I'm sure I've got any. Oh no, surely I have. What's his name? Sekou Koita.
Oh, nice. Yeah. He'll work for sure. That's definitely a good option to have.
If I can find him. Oh, there he is in the old shirt. Have you got any Austrian guys that you can put in?
I think I do, actually. That's not a bad shout. Maybe we'd have a look at that. So, rather than playing a pro team, let's go and have a peek at it because there's a rare competition, isn't there? Austrian Bundesliga Special Weekly. Let's see, what do we get? So, assemble using 2 cards from the Austrian Bundesliga clubs. Oh, I don't know if I've got 2.
Oh, you've got to have one from this season.
Oh, do you? No. Look well.
Can I be asked to go and buy one now?
So some signed jerseys on the top 20. That's good fun, and a lot of coins. That's it. So I guess if you're going to be, you've really got to think you're going to get a top 20 team. But I guess if you get top 40, it's not a bad, 6,000 coins might be pretty useful to somebody. But I definitely don't think you can prioritize that division, can you?
No, definitely not. Yeah, it's a decent amount of coins. Oh shit, I haven't done my academy teams yet.
Oh yeah, I done them. That's the thing with the deadline stream is you can miss an academy team very easily. So yeah, maybe even that dingy scales. Do I have anyone that's a bit more safe? Yeah, maybe not. Yeah, I'll just play scales because I think that's dodgy. Trubin's dodgy. Just play them together. Lorente is kind of maybe Lorente is the play, and then up front and rare I could play Larson. Is that better? I'm not so sure it is. Than playing Bernardo. Aye, let's do that. And then super rare Larson. Super rare Larson. And then a rare to fill us out. Depay's injured at the moment. Guardiola's not going to be starting. I wonder if Ailton Naka's going to play. DNP'd the last match. Not too buzzing about that. Is Acevedo playing? No, not too buzzing about that. I'll take Ferran Torres because he scores from the bench as well. Oh no, I pressed the wrong button. I hate it when I do that. Trubin, Scales, Bernardo, Larson, and then Ferran. This is quite a FC Barcelona's team. I quite like this. There we go. And I think shits and giggles, we would have to captain Bernardo just because imagine he started after all this today. You need one with a season bonus, not from this season. So Dedic still got his season bonus, for example. Jonathan Gargi, I love that crease. Has to be a new card, someone else is saying perhaps. I think Jonathan's maybe got a glitch in the system, by the way. Larson Noyce, yeah, I love my Larsons, but I'm not sure if he's going to start. As a Copenhagen supporter, I think Jordan starts. He only played 60 minutes midweek, yeah, but his form has been rubbish. That's what I'm worried about. I'm not really so worried about the fatigue element. It's more his performance, because he is getting rotated. There is a few guys in that Copenhagen team that are jostling for position, but it's good to hear you think.
I watched both their European leg games. He is obviously playing as a centre forward, so he's basically on the end of chances, and if he doesn't score, he's AA. He's a bit shit. You really want him. Last season when he started out, he was playing a little bit on the right side or the left side, and he was getting a little bit more sort of AA from that. So I think that could be part of the problem. But I think he starts this weekend. I think he's got potential to put up a decent score.
I'm probably going to put him in this team then, if you think he's that likely to start. I was a wee bit worried about him, but if a Copenhagen fan is going to come in and tell us that, and Monkey, you're going to be on side with him, then I'll get him into a team that's at least going to try and do something. I know it's not a great team, but I kind of get him in. I just had a glance. I kind of get him into any team that's more important. But
I think the coach will want to get him scoring. He isn't exactly set the world alight to start the season, so
yeah. Could I even play Scales in here, by the way? This would be a real cheat code team. 5 points over. So I'm going to need to stick with the Tierney punt on this one. Or Boyata, by the way. What are the chances of Boyata playing for Bruges? Because he came on at half-time because Michele got booked early, and apparently Ronnie Dyla wasn't happy with Michele. Was the commentary thing I read? Oh, come on, don't do this to me now. I need something. There we go.
I was looking. I'm sure I saw that they were looking to sign someone. I can't think who it was.
They're going to start Michele again, they reckon. When was this last updated? Last updated Friday. Today, 9 o'clock this morning. Okay, fair enough. I can live with that as current information. And I'll stick with the Tierney punt then. Cool. Awesome. Now, I've still not got Trubin into a team, which makes me worried. I think I would want him in a team. Oh no, I've got this team here actually. So all I need to do is put Quinny up front or something.
Have you not got a U23 team that you could whack him in? He's still U23, isn't he?
Trubin? Oh yeah, Trubin's under 23 for... Oh, sorry, I just realised the tab wasn't sharing across there. But no, I've just put Cunha in place of Larsson there. I want to put wee Riquelme into a team because I think Riquelme might be on to start, actually. So what I could do is, let's drop Scales out of this for maybe a defender that will play like Savic. I would take Savic in a team like this just to make it operational, if you get me. So yeah, let's put Savic in here and then Bernardo. So I think Riquelme is 50-50 to play for Atletico. And Atletico have got a really good match with Sevilla. Like somebody asked me about Griezmann earlier on. I would captain Griezmann in this game. I've captained him in my common division. But I know Sevilla in the Champions League and all that, but Atletico are looking really good and Sevilla are not doing that great at the moment. So I might just do this actually. And then Ferran, who's the most nailed starter I've got? If I maybe get a training lineup actually that's worth disposing of, first of all. Have I done all my training lineups actually? I'm not so sure I have. There's Academy Team 1. So Robbo. I've got Robbo and Kamada I could be using in this situation. So let me have a quick peek. Sorry, Monkey. I'm all over the place. I'm sorry if this is bad viewing, everyone.
No, it's all right. I'm trying to do my training teams as well.
I'm trying to do my best.
Sam in the house. Hey, Sam. How are you?
Sam, my man. Good to see you. And how are you this game week? What are you getting up to, guys? We are getting close to the deadline. Let us know if you're doing anything different because of the monthly leaderboards. Are you going after the Austrian Special Weekly? Are you going after some auctions, perhaps, over the weekend as things start to calm down and you've got teams set up and, you know, all that good stuff? So
I'm building my next collection.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I won't tell you who, though. Well, that would be fairly obvious probably to some people.
Yeah.
I don't want to out myself, but yeah, no, I'm trying to get another stack together.
Love it. And is it something a bit exotic or is it a wee bit tested?
A team with a lot of utility this season.
Love the sound of that. And so who did I say there? I had maybe I even put Limer in this team as a wee hedge against who else did I have? Sorry, I had Robbo. I can still play Savic. I can still play Bernardo. Bernardo is not a total write-off, I don't think. I could play Larsson Rare. It's a really good game, Copenhagen I've got. Let's say I played Larsson Rare rather than Cunha. And then let's say instead of Ferran, I played Llorente. That's not a bad punt. And then if Trubin plays, that's an alright wee team to have around him. Let's do that.
That looks good.
Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. It's a nice wee last end punt team. So that means we need to get Kamada, but Kamada's playing Napoli. I don't want any part of that.
So if you obviously, you know, being a massive Celtic fan, what happened last weekend for one, and are they going to turn it around this weekend?
I think so, mate. I think it's one of those games where it's one of the first derbies we've had in so long where we're not the out and out stated favourites to win the game. And I think that might help us a little bit psychologically. Just some of the guys are just trying to get their name in the team, if you know what I mean, like Odenholm, maybe even Taylor, some of these centre backs that have been coming and going. Because I think attacking wise, we looked really good until we got all these defensive injuries and stuff. So I think it's a game that I think it's a team and a game that will rise to the occasion. I think we'll win. I think the PSV result helps us a lot. I think the Champions League group draw we've got will definitely put a wee bounce in everyone's step in training, because that's a group that, like I said in the tip-off to the stream, like, if you're a player in that changing room, man, you're not scared of that group one bit. You know what I mean? So that's got to give you something coming into a game like this. Now, the fly in the ointment for anyone outside of Glasgow, you won't really be aware of this perhaps, but there will be no Celtic fans there whatsoever. It will be 100% blue in Ibrox. That's the way it kind of goes these days up in Glasgow.
Do you see Nat Phillips starting on the bench?
So I find it really hard to imagine that Nat Phillips plays this game because he only arrived in Glasgow yesterday. He probably does training today and then is in some sort of pre-game session tomorrow. Then it's the game Sunday. So, or however they work their pre-schedule. Obviously, I've not worked to that level, but however they work it. But I have spoke to so many people that think it is unimaginable that he doesn't get thrown straight in. And if he was thrown straight in, it would be, I think, at the expense of Scales. It might be at the expense of Lager BLK. But so I was listening to a podcast called the Open Goal Podcast. And again, if you're not in Scotland, you might miss this, but it's quite popular here. It's got a lot of views and all the rest of it. But James McFadden's on it once a week, and he said, if I was Nat Phillips, he's talking about having this, he's imagining he's in the deal kind of thing. And he said, if I'm him, I'm saying, I want to play that game guaranteed, or I'm no signing, because he is only coming in on loan for a short period of time to cover injuries. There's no guarantees he'll play any of the fun games.
He's a long loan.
He's on loan for is it the season? I thought it might have been 6 months, but is it the season?
I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was the season, but
yeah. So there's no guarantee when everyone's fit he's going to be number one still, with him being a lone player, of course. So again, I can imagine a guy saying that, like looking at it, by all accounts, he's on 60 grand a week, mate. And all he does is like obviously train at Liverpool and stuff like that. He's also, you'd expect an elite performer. But I think if he is coming up here, I think he would have been saying, I want to play that game, while I make it, while I'll be able to play. So I find that a really difficult one, because the argument to say you don't play him is like, Scales and Lagerbielke have at least played together, but they haven't. They've played one game together. Yeah, they've trained together for a week or something like that around it, but it's not that much of a difference really if you get a guy that's Premier League level. Admit, fair enough, he's not Liverpool starting 11 level, but he's, that's the level he's operated at, if you get me. So
he's decent. For Champions League, I've always rated him. He just lacks like the absolute quality that you need to sort of win cups and leagues and stuff like that. But I was shocked he hadn't moved to like a Div 2 side, or I can see him doing really well up there for you boys. But it'll be interesting to see whether he, one, gets a start, and two, if he can actually work his way into the team. But
I think he'll definitely play. I just don't know if he'll be this weekend, but I think otherwise he'll be the first name on the team sheet defensive wise until we're at full strength again. Really, I think that's the idea with him. So I think it depends on your mindset. It's really about what would Brendan do? What will the manager do? It's really a personal decision, because the guy's obviously been training. He's not been injured or anything. He's like completely ready to go in so many ways. It's just, does he know how to talk to Greg Taylor at left back, and can he talk to the goalkeeper behind him? And maybe one training session and a meet and greet is enough. We've seen lots of people debut in the derby in green and white and in blue as well. It's not totally unknown to happen. But until the last 24 hours, I wouldn't have thought he started coming in this late. But a lot of people have kind of changed my mind, and I'm not playing Scales anywhere significant, because I think there's a real possibility that he doesn't start.
How's Scales done? Has he been okay? Or
SO5 wise, he's been great, yeah. And then Celtic fans are even like, okay, well, he's not a handicap, like he's like, he can do it if we need him to against like St Johnstone or whatever. But nobody wants to. I don't think anyone wants to play him at Ibrox either. He did really well against Rangers for Aberdeen, right enough, but I don't think anyone wants to play him. I think Celtic fans want Phillips to play over him in this game, and we've just bought Lagerbielke, so how can you spend $3 million on a guy and not play him? So I think he has to play. That's what I'm at with it. I don't know what to do with this Italy stuff. It always kind of throws me. I'll put Crava back in. Not been getting that close. I've been getting quite close with the comments about Monkey. I've been getting quite close to getting in the cards. Been pushing and doing pretty well. And yeah, let's see what the chat is giving it. So I asked the chat for some stuff, and Sam Ty on the deadline day and the stream. Thanks very much, mate. Boom. Full Krug to Dortmund done. Sorry, Monkey, you were saying?
I've forgotten now. What were we talking about?
Getting ready for the game week and all that good stuff. I was catching up with the chat. Jamie Howard is asking, any big players ruled out late? Well, we know a wee bit of Man City news, and I don't know if there was anything else that was big. Palfinha for Fulham. He's like in Germany, but apparently he's 95% for Fulham still. I don't think there's any other big name ones. Jamie, it depends also what cars you're running with, what's big to you personally for this game week, if you get me. So anyone that jumps out to your mind, Monkey? Any big absentees that we've got in last minute?
Not really, no. I mean, a lot of it's about transfers, isn't it? If someone gets a late call up, or they try and sign your player, then he could be out the door, or at least out the team for the weekend. But yeah, I think that from a Liverpool point of view, I think hopefully Salah stays, but I don't think they'd let him go this weekend. I think Klopp would probably resign if they sold him this weekend. Yeah,
I think that would be. Yeah, it would be almost, seasonal suicide, because Salah is just like the only player that's next level in that team, isn't it?
Well, I disagree, but
But in terms of a forward line, mate, Champions League quarter-final, second leg, who do you want? Salah or?
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, Salah. I just think that he can be trusted on that side, and I think we've got so many young players that are coming through. Like Luis Diaz, if he can he's looked so good to start the season. If he can sort of continue that form, Darwin Núñez, Diego Jota. We've got the young kid coming through. He's, by all accounts, I watched under 18 game with him. Like, was it last year or the year before? Ben Doak.
Oh yeah,
he's absolute quality. So we've got options going forward at the moment. That's not the area where we're sort of weakest, but obviously
Ben Doak to replace Mo Salah. There we go. You heard it here first.
So I think we'd survive. The trouble is, if they came back and said next week and said, we'll give you 200 million for him, we'll pay him 2 million a week. I don't think those are the kind of numbers that any club can turn down for a player that's into his 30s, no matter how good he is. So the problem then is, what do you do with that 200 million? Because next time you get to spend it is the winter transfer break. Everyone knows you've got 200 million burning a hole in your back pocket. So that just pushes up the prices and everything else. So really, you want to get those sort of deals done. You want to get the replacement in for him before you sell him.
That's a tricky bit about Sorare, isn't it? Is you need to be spinning the plates. You need to have ideally you need to have all this stuff kind of overlapping and everything, don't you?
Well, exactly. Yeah, you've got the player you're playing now and the player you're going to play when you sell the player that you're playing now. And how many academy teams do you have to do?
I think I've got 5 at the most. Not that many. And just try and make sure I've got the guys that I'm trying to level up. Just make sure they're going on their merry way. Because when you've got competitive teams out, there's enough of them going out anyway that the main guys are going to be organically getting XP because they're in competitions. Don't need to worry as much about the slumps that we need to go into training. Throw him in. And do we put Jota back in training again? I'm not too sure if we're going to get a transfer for him today or not. That might happen last minute. That would be funny. And
is he not happy over there?
I think they've decided they don't want him because they want to sign Salah. That's a team that wants Salah. So if they think they're getting Salah, they want to kick Jota out the door to make room for Salah.
Where do you think he'd go straight back to Celtic?
Nah, there's not even any chat of that, mate. I'd love it. I would love that to happen. I'd love it to be possible, but there's not even any whisper of that being possible. So I wouldn't hold my breath.
It crushes me looking through all of my team, doing my teams now, and all of the guys for various teams that were had new season bonuses were over 10% and now down to sort of 5%.
Well, they did say that they were changing. They were pausing one of the rule changes, weren't they? I know they paused fitness altogether, but
obviously the new season cards have come out for like Eredivisie. So all of my AZ guys now have lost a 5% season bonus.
Got you.
I think the rule they're going to hopefully they come up with a better solution. Like a player has the new season bonus for 12 months or whatever, then it falls off no matter what.
Yeah. Something like that's definitely the way to go. I think everyone's in kind of agreement for that. But yeah, we've got a few chats in here talking about the Celtic team again as well, talking about Scales and Phillips. Turnbull to start. I think Turnbull's maybe in jeopardy over Odenholm. If you have a Turnbull, I would maybe a wee bit. I think McBride has him on to start. McBride is the guy that does the play sharper one. I think it's probably more than likely he starts. Brendan Johnson's medical at Spurs is penciled in. That is happening. As a Liverpool fan, I would sell him for 200 mil and then play Doak. Love it.
To be honest, I agree. 200 million is a lot of money.
Yeah. AC Milan failed in a loan move for Joe David last night, apparently. Why the hell are they trying to loan him? I know they spent a lot of money, actually, this window. That's probably the reason. So I just the 5 academy teams for me. And then it's at that point where it's just the last double check. Just make sure the teams all look the way they're meant to look and you've not clicked on something by mistake. And or miss somebody out that should be in a good team that's not been put in a team. I feel bad that Bernardo's not in a team now all of a sudden, but hey, it's just the way the cookie crumbles, isn't it? But no, I'm actually quite happy with all those teams.
Just looking through to make sure I'm playing all of my starting goalkeepers in. I've lucked out and got quite a few new starting goalkeepers the last few days.
I love it. But is that through transfers or?
No, not through transfers, through injuries or just rotation. Like, I got the New York keeper, so hopefully Baraza stays out. I don't think I'm playing him any serious lineup this weekend, but I think he's a decent keeper. So it'd be good to see him continuing.
Love it. Hendo's telling us Abada 4-year contract extension confirmed by Fab Rom. Here we go. Torino coming back in for Rocco Vata as well. So yeah, it's all happening on deadline day as well. João Felix to Barca feels to be happening. I seen a rumour that Barca were trying to push Louis to Saudi, and I wasn't sure if that was in a final effort to make sure they had the money to do this one. Someone who want to trade Albert Striker Edition. No, not me. I don't want to trade for that at all. I'm happy with my midfielder works, please. Leave me alone with it.
João Felix to Barcelona. That'd be an interesting one. But just João Felix somewhere would be good. But
Celtic have said Matt O'Reilly is not for sale. Go away, Leeds and Southampton. That is the latest on that one. Leave him alone. He's playing Champions League football. We've seen the group. We've got Feyenoord, Lazio and Atleti. And he's thinking, Celtic can get out of that group, man. We can get out of that. We can do something.
Could be fun.
Yeah.
How optimistic are you of getting out of the group, or third place still goes into the Europa League? Is that right?
I'm aiming for second, mate. I think second or third is something we can go for, man. Like Lazio are not all that. Like in Europe in general, and like if you look at the way they started this season, like you can get these teams if you're Celtic. See when we get drawn against Barca, Bayern, and all the big PSGs and Messi and Mbappe and Lewandowski and all these guys, they're the ones that stuff us. But these teams, like when it comes to Champions League, we can have a shot, we can have a go for sure. I think the Feyenoord game the Feyenoord games are the most pivotal, because if you can do Feyenoord over 2 games, that's 6 points. You're basically into third already at that point. If you imagine that Feyenoord have the same results as you for the rest of the group, So
yeah. And Feyenoord haven't exactly started the season particularly well. I mean, they had the one good win, but
and they've only been selling. And Bajlo is injured. I don't know how long for, but so I don't think Feyenoord are as strong as they were. I say Lazio started poorly. Madrid's the only one. Madrid could give you a demoralising result in one of the games, maybe when it's over there in Spain, perhaps. But we had Betis 2 seasons ago in Europa, and they beat us over the games and whatever as well, but they weren't a million miles ahead of us, and I don't know if the Atletico games would be that different to a game against Betis.
Yeah. My only worry with that is Celtic last season looked really good, and I watched the game last week and they really didn't. I don't know what it was. It was just they had plenty of chances, but
no cigar.
Yeah. Do you trust Rodgers to sort of turn it around?
Yeah, well, I'm not. Yeah, it's funny, right? Because it is literally just we've had a mad spate of injuries. Like, I've seen this on the Celtic content on the Celtics Are Here channel. If anyone's interested, feel free to go check it out. But like, everything was great. The first game pre-season, everything was ticking over. We've done some early business. We were then looking for some other business, and then like Vickers didn't, got injured. We signed the Rocky. He got injured. Alistair Johnson is just coming back from injury. Hatate was in and out the team, then became injured. And then I think with Yang starting at the weekend over Abada, I think people didn't see Abada in training, so they weren't sure if he picked up a knock a wee bit last week or something. So none of these things really amount to how bad the team have been over the last 2 games, don't get me wrong. But I do think they make a really big difference to the overall way the team is playing, and the impression you get of how well the manager's doing as a result of that. Because like the last game, I say Scales and Lagerbielke, and before that Lagerbielke and Naroki. Like that was just, and then before that it's Naroki and Carter Vickers. That's the centre backs for the last 4 games. It's completely different. It's musical chairs the whole way through. And when you add a wee bit of volatility into midfield, and then some tough teams, man. Kilmarnock are good in terms of the Scottish setting, especially when they're on their home pitch. and St Johnstone, like, hey, like banana skin situation. It's just one of those ones. At least we didn't concede a goal. Is the only thing you say on it. But so yeah, I think Rodgers will be fine in that respect. I think the group will give. I can't say it enough, but I really do think it will give everyone in the club a real lift, and hopefully a wee bit of vindication in this final day to just make sure we get the business done. Because look at the group, man. Imagine we finish second and we then got a decent draw, and then imagine this and imagine that. That's what we want to dream about. It's the last season of this format of the Champions League. Let's have some fun with it. You know what I mean? Let's go for it. And then next year it's like 8 to 10 games guaranteed. So we can pretend we're in a wee Super League again, or we can, or not again, but that'll be happening next year, basically. So that's what Celtic have been dreaming of, is getting into some sort of Atlantic European League or something where we can play many more games against people that aren't in Scotland, and hopefully more people will watch that on the TV. So yeah, I think it's going to be a good Champions League campaign. I think Rodgers will get that kind of bounce back. I think the game of the weekend, but is going to be a nervy one. All that being said,
we've got Ross Henderson in the chat. Doesn't seem to be particularly positive on them.
Forgetting they failed to win the last game against Shakhtar and Leipzig. Yeah, well, but again, like, so you look at the Champions League campaign last year. I don't think the centre backs again played any. I think Jens played every Champions League game. Starfelt only played the last Champions League game against Real Madrid. And I think Carl Vickers played most of them, didn't play them all. But again, like, if you look at if you do look in hindsight at the group stage, there's problems in the teams all over the place. Daizen Maeda played right wing back against Leipzig. You know, there was just crazy problems all over the place. So I don't really use that as a reference for good or bad. You know, I just kind of hope that the players have learned from just playing at that level and being shoulder to shoulder with players of that caliber. And I think that's really a big part of the reason you've seen the incline in form from Hatate last season was after being on a pitch with Modric. That first game, like, I was there, me and Harry Trades went to it, I'm sure. And honestly, like, Hatate was like stuck to Modric the whole game. And after that, honestly, it seemed like he just got a wee bit of, I've seen that guy doing it, and he's like the master of it, you know. So it's just kind of being close to people and realizing you can play the same pass, you can maybe make the same run. You're as strong as him in a 50-50 or whatever. So I just kind of hope the team from the last year are just taking that part of the experience into this year. I'm not really so much worried on how the Leipzig game stuff and Shakhtar went now, because so much changes. Yeah. And
I think the confidence comes from the league, doesn't it? And, you know, they need to start, if they can start stringing some results together. I mean, a win this weekend for your boys would, obviously, I'm sure the whole momentum would change.
Yeah, I definitely think whoever, if anyone wins the game at the weekend, it equally could be another one. It might be a draw. You know, it's not, you don't get draws that often, but it could be a draw, I guess. But if whoever wins it will have all the confidence and all the momentum until Christmas time, because the next time typically you get a derbies around New Year. There's always a derby around Hogmanay, New Year, Christmas time, you know. So it's a pivotal one in that sense, you know, for the league itself, because we're 1 point ahead. We've drawn with St Johnstone. Rangers get beat off Kelly. So basically, we've both made a mistake in the opening part of the season, and this is a real opportunity for one team to really make that mistake a bit of a tattoo on the season, you know, and pull away or get a lead or make something count, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, of course, yeah. 5 minutes until lock.
5 minutes until lock.
I've just had a scan through my gallery trying to see if I had any Salzburg cards that hadn't lost or any Austrian cards that hadn't lost their season bonus, but unfortunately not.
No entry for you this week.
Not in that one, yeah. So just 46 teams.
I don't know if it's blind positivity, but I think in Europe, like, honestly, at Celtic Park, like, we're not going to be worried about Lazio the way it is, if it's PSG or if it's been like a prime Juventus or something like that. And so I think that's a big part of these groups. You know, when we had the last group with Brendan, which was like Gladbach, City, and Anderlecht, I think that group was. Like, Gladbach did run us over, but we had a lot of faith in that group that we could get something against Gladbach. And I think as a result, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure we drew both times. Or no, we definitely drew with City in one of the games. My memory's escaping me on all the results right now because I'm not an encyclopedia. But, you know, when you've got that hope that you've got against two of the teams out of the three, then when you do play the bigger team, then there's a wee bit more of, oh, we've got a chance in this game, or can we nick something? Whereas when you've got in your group PSG and Bayern, you know, if you get one on one of them, you're not going to get one on. You're not going to do both of them. You know, if you get me. But so I don't think it's that blind. I think there's a lot of foundations for my positivity.
I just reading Jonathan's message. He said he managed to squeeze Messi into cap 220. I like a few times during the season, you sort of look at your 220 team, and I always wonder, like, how cheaply could I do it? I'd love to see, like, Sorare have a tournament, which is cap 220, but you get the extra points for everything you use under 220. So say if you put in like 5 players that are all on zeros, but they could play, you'd get 220 plus their scores.
That's amazing, mate.
But I just thought that idea, because, you know, then it's like so many levels you're thinking on. You're thinking, I could fill up the 220 and I could put 1-0 guy and then put a Messi in. So then, you know, great team. Messi could bang. Or you could go for like a few 0 guys and try and go for like that guaranteed 220 plus a load of points on top.
That would be fun somehow. But Jonathan's using Paul Wanner in this. Now, I've seen the news that Paul Wanner, he's got a very lovely rookie card, by the way, from this season's Bayern Munich or last season's. But he is a highly thought of wonder kid, and he's moved to Bundesliga 2, to the very bottom team. I had to check they were in Bundesliga 2 because I thought this team, they sound like 4th division or something, but no, they are in Bundesliga 2. But Jonathan, I don't think you can expect him to play this weekend, can you? I think that move was only confirmed today, if not yesterday. So I would maybe think you're going to throw a Messi away on that strategy, personally, mate, unless you know Wanner's going to play somehow. But
it's probably a Messi common.
Oh, Messi common, of course.
Yeah.
Doy.
Got Mickey Fu saying here, latest clickbait headline from Sky Sports: Mo Salah has just left Liverpool's training ground. He's probably finished training for the day.
Yeah, he's probably finished his shift right. Proper trolling, eh?
Yeah, exactly. But, you know, you've got to get headlines somehow, haven't you?
Yeah. So Rare Holland thinks, so see the whole money thing between Scottish football, like this was getting made a big thing about apparently when Rangers were getting beat off PSV. I didn't watch the game, so I can't speak on the commentary about it. There's a huge difference, right, in the money between the teams in Holland and Scotland, clearly, right? But from, you know, I think PSV, Ajax and Feyenoord on paper have all got fantastic squads. They clearly spend way more money than Celtic and Rangers. They clearly generate a lot more money, even just by transfers themselves, than Celtic and Rangers. But I don't think so. I think, for example, like Borna Sosa is going to Ajax for 6 million, right? If Borna Sosa went to Brighton, he'd be 26 million, right? So some players, there's like the value, the actual transfer fee doesn't really tell you how good the guy is, really. It's just about, like, you know, because Brighton have bought the guy, USG in Belgium have bought him, or it's, you know, so transfer fees and that kind of thing, like sometimes they're relative. Like you're spending 6 million quid because you've just sold a guy for 12, whereas we sell a guy for 8. So relatively, we negotiate a deal to 4. Because sometimes as well, like, multiple teams will be in for these players, and a player says, I'm not going to move to Austria, then Salzburg just say, cool, and they walk away. So it doesn't matter how much money they would ever offer. If they're not at the table anymore, they're gone, if you get me. So, you know, like, I don't think the money difference for, let's just keep it so rare, challenger teams, I don't think it can be that much of a bridge when it comes to face-to-face competition like this, you know.
Hendo saying that the Dutch TV deal for the league is worth 5 times what Scotland's is, which I find surprising because I would put them on a similar level. But I know, like, you know, teams like Ajax, Feyenoord, PSV have got that sort of like brand name, but, you know, so Celtic and Rangers. So, yeah. You know, maybe that's on the SPFL to negotiate a better deal.
But yeah, you could talk about that forever, mate, to be quite honest with you. But at the deadline, and the last thing I'll say about that, I think that more affects your like Volendam versus your Ross Counties, if you get me, that situation, because Rangers and Celtic are always going to sell out season books. They're always going to sell hundreds and thousands of jerseys. They're always going to, especially now that, you know, being in Europe, there's always going to be extra money there. So the Dutch football TV deal, like, yeah, obviously it's 5 times. It is a difference on the balance sheet, but I don't think it separates Feyenoord, PSV, and Ajax from Celtic and Rangers. But I think, like I say, I would separate like Sparta, Rotterdam from maybe Hearts and Hibs or something, or whatever. But yeah, but I know. We are locked and loaded. Charlie Dunbar has called it. We're in for the game week, guys.
What's the first games up? I haven't even checked actually to see what's on today.
What is on? But maybe that's what we should normally finish the stream on. Is what is the Friday night curse? Who are the games? Who's playing tonight?
I love a bit Friday football, but yeah, it's only good when you get off to a good start, isn't it?
Yeah, so we're good.
It's called Trike.
Yep. Slaven Bilepo and Lokomotiv Zagreb. Luton West Ham. Nantes Marseille for you, Monkey.
Oh, yeah.
Dortmund Heidenheim. Hoofd. There's some goals tonight, man. Tell you that. AC Milan Roma. Oof, man. There'll be some goals tonight.
Oh, I'm going to be watching a lot of TV tonight.
Yeah, there's a fair amount on. Even in La Liga as well. Two games.
No difference than normal, but yeah.
Cadiz, Villarreal, Celta Vigo. There's a lot of games for Friday night, man. There's two in a lot of these divisions.
Quite a lot of players playing tonight, then.
Wow, man. A lot of Friday night curses going around, Monkey Boy.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. Normally I'd watch the Premier League game, but who was it again? Luton?
West Ham.
Maybe if Kudus starts, Mohamed Kudus, I'd be interested to see how he does. Can't see him starting. He'll probably be on the bench though, won't he?
I think Milan Roma is the game I want to watch tonight on paper, but that could be rubbish. Maybe it's Dortmund you want to watch because it'll be like 7-5 or something.
Yeah, I might watch the French game.
The French game, Nantes Marseille, of course, for your cards, of course, I get that.
Yeah. I normally record all of the games anyway, like the live games, and then I can pick and choose during the week which ones to watch.
Love that.
I've got Sky, I've got BT, so literally I've got the only one I haven't got covered is La Liga, which is annoying. But
yeah, you can only watch that back. Do you watch La Liga TV? Do you have that on Amazon, or do you just not watch La Liga at all?
No, I don't watch it at all at the moment. Can I get it on Amazon?
It's on Amazon, La Liga TV. It's maybe like it's in. So when you go into Amazon and you go to live TV, live sports, there's like a football channel there, maybe called Viaplay or something. But it comes onto my Amazon package is La Liga TV, and it's in Amazon TV. Every Amazon app I can watch La Liga TV in it.
Do you have to pay extra a month?
It's like 8 to 12 quid. I forget what it is, but it's like, I know. But I'm just
honestly, every month.
I think there's some stuff for free. I think see on Amazon if you're Prime, I think you can watch like the match of the day stuff. Their equivalent. I think you can watch that in Amazon Prime anyway. Yeah. Maybe one game a weekend. Maybe they do something. I don't know, but I just pay for it. It's like it's a wee add-on to Prime TV.
Maybe I'll stop my MLS because that's like 15 quid a month, and start La Liga in a month or two.
Yeah, that could be a good move. Love that.
Yeah.
And
do you have the MLS one as well?
I do have the MLS one, but I only pay Apple TV like 7 quid. So I was surprised there when you said 15. So I don't know if I've not been watching it that much because the time difference, obviously. So I think I've only got the basic one or something. Apple
is 7 quid, and then to watch MLS, I think you pay another 12, 13 quid a month or something.
Oh, do you? Oh, but I think I got away with it. I think Apple give you one game a week for free.
Oh, do they? Okay, I didn't realise.
Because I think I had done that to watch the first game of the season, and it was like maybe it might have just been the first game of the season was free.
Yeah,
I don't know, but so I got it for that. Just for hey, we've got Sangare to Forest just confirmed as well. That's a huge one for Sorare, isn't it? Confirmed? Looks like it, man.
He's sort of like when I started on Sorare, he was, and that for that first year after I started, and I've been on nearly 3 years now. He was like the cheat code card. He was U23, he banged 100s, every other week and stuff like that. But just doesn't seem to sort of like, I know he had a few injuries, but yeah. Okay, yeah, Ricky Lomas saying they show a few games for free on Apple.
And yeah, Sangare from PSV is now Sangare of Nottingham Forest.
Nice.
Wouldn't you believe it?
I'm looking forward to watching Vinicius Souza this weekend as well. Obviously, he's had a couple of games. He looked quite good in the first game and got a decent AA. Second game was against Manchester City. What are you going to do? So exactly. This week is a home game in a slightly more manageable fixture. So I'm interested to see how he gets on because he has been a bit of an AA monster in the past. But
Yeah, I hope to see these guys translate well into the Prem, but it's going to be a big weekend for me. I'll probably be back Sunday. I'll be on Sunday watching the derby. I'll maybe get some content to go, maybe some action. We'll see what's going on with that. But it's going to be a huge Friday night. It looks like the whole weekend's going to be jam-packed. Good luck to everyone that's joined us live. It's been an absolute pleasure. Monkey, fist bump, good luck to you this game week as well. And thanks a lot for being my co-pilot for the deadline stream. It's been an absolute pleasure, mate. Long overdue as well.
You're welcome. Next week, I'll be watching Harry.
That's it. Good luck, everyone. Take care.
See you later.